Hello, everybody. This is me, Nicholas, and my co-host Jonathan.
Hello.
We're gonna be talking about my remix research topic of why, as a child, 10 years younger, I didn't play that many games that consisted of female protagonists. Yeah, this we're gonna be talking about my past, basically. So, back in my day, I had a DS. The DS was my first console. And whenever I got a chance, I'd always like to look at the video game section. So this one time, I went to Target with my dad, as son and parents do, go to Target. So while we were there, I noticed a new game in the gaming section. Do you know what that game was?
Not sure. Probably a game with a female protagonist.
Right. The game was the princess, the old Princess Peach game, the one where you gotta save Mario.
When did it come out?
It came out like forever ago. I can't even remember.
When did you get the DS?
Yeah, it was during the DS times.
Like 10 years ago, probably.
Yeah, way more than 10 years.
Yeah.
So, I had asked him if we could buy the game, but unfortunately he said no.
And why is that?
So, actually, I recently found out the actual answer to why a few days ago. It went like this. It was me and my dad, we were in a car, and I had asked him, for the sake of curiosity, why so long ago he didn't buy that game for me. Because he knew I liked the Mario series a lot. He knew I was like a super fan. Like, I didn't have stickers on the wall related to Mario. Like, that's how good the game was to me. That's how important it was.
Yeah.
So I asked him, and he said that back in his time, when he was a kid, it was weird to like feminine things. It was weird for a guy to be playing a girl's game, because in truth, that game was targeted towards the female audience, because it just screamed for all the female Nintendo fans to play. Like, there was no sort of man or muscular thing or anything to resemble anything non-feminine. It was a pretty feminine looking game, although I still wanted to play it as a kid. But in his time, it was weird for a man to play like a girl's game. So that's basically why.
Did you ever get to play the game?
Even to this day, I've never touched the game, since I don't think they sell DS games anymore.
You could maybe find it online. I mean, it'd be a little more expensive.
I probably could. They made a new Princess Peach game.
It's cool.
I actually might buy that one.
Nice.
I'll get to the reasons why I might buy it. But for now, let's get back to my past. So, after that, years go by. I have never played a game with a female protagonist before. But when I turned 10 years old, I was given the chance to play the Horizon Zero Dawn game. Do you know what that game is?
No.
Oh, so basically you're this female character named Aloy, and she uses a bow and arrow, which is like very weird, because during that time it was mostly just guns and like comic violence with all the games that were out during that time. This is during, I think, 2017 is when that game came out. So I was like 10 years old. And it was a whole new experience. It was my first open world game. It was my first game that there was a female protagonist, and I'll talk more about that right now. So, Aloy, she's a very interesting character. She's not like the girly girl that you would usually see in other games that has a girl protagonist. She was like she's an outcast. She's treated like she doesn't belong in the society that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
They live in a society where there's futuristic robots that they made, but that turned evil, and they're like animals, and they terrorize all the humans. So when we get introduced to the story, Aloy, we go through like a time lapse. She's a kid in the beginning, and then she turns into like a young adult in the future time. It's kind of quick actually. So like in the prologue or like the beginning of the game, you get to play as her as a kid, and then right after you get to play as an adult. And I like what they did with the character. They made her have a good origin story. They made her have like just an amazing character overall. She was really awesome. She was the good guy, the good person in this game. She didn't hurt anyone unless they were causing, havoc amongst the world. So this game, there's so much to talk about in this one game, but I'll go as far as to say that it was an amazing experience. I got to experience a lot of first times with this game.
Nice.
I really recommend playing it.
And that game with the female protagonist, it kind of opened your eyes into a more, I guess, like a new field of gaming where the main protagonist is a female.
I mean, yes. It was different to be a female character for the first time, because obviously in this game there's actually no like dating or no sort of male male interest, male romantical interest. It was just Aloy and her adventure in this great big world, this great big open world, fighting bad guys and robots. So it was kind of like, it's kind of like what today we have, like Breath of the Wild, where it's open world and adventure. It's not really focused on the gender of the character as much as it is about the adventure.
Where's Breath of the Wild? Is that also a female protagonist or no?
Breath of the Wild is Link, but
okay.
Link from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Link doesn't talk, but Aloy does. And honestly, if I had to compare the two, Breath of the Wild is like a new game, and Horizon Zero Dawn, the one Aloy comes from, is old, but they're both really good. So I honestly couldn't tell you which one's better. I'm kind of biased because I like Legend of Zelda, but I also like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's cool, but it's hard to tell the difference, or like which one's better.
So, my question is, what would you say to the people that are listening? Would you say that by playing these games, you get a new experience and a whole new category of games, or?
Whenever you're looking at a game, you always want to see like what kind of genre it is, right? You always wonder if it's a horror game, or if it's an adventure game, a first-person shooter, or maybe like a creative game, or all those cool genres like that. But when it comes to choosing, or when it comes to looking at the main protagonist in those games, if they have one at all, sometimes they might be a girl or a boy. And honestly, to me, it doesn't really matter if they're a boy or a girl, because all that matters is that you have fun playing the video game.
Yeah. And if you pay too much attention to it, you're ignoring a whole different, like, a whole market of games.
Yeah, you're basically, if you choose to ignore the fact that, okay, I'm playing as a girl or I'm playing as a guy, then you'll have way more fun enjoying what the game wants you to actually recognize. Most importantly, to have fun and not care about something as simple as one's gender. Because there's a lot of games out there where there's a female protagonist and there's also the same for male protagonists. But in the end, it's all up to the player if they want to play as a girl or a boy, or they genuinely want to just enjoy the experience of a new game that they haven't played before. So basically, my message that I was trying to send is that don't ignore video games that have the opposite gender of your gender, because if you do, then you'll miss out on a whole new experience.
A whole lot of new experiences, for that matter.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the end. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye, Jonathan.
Later.